My people, welcome. Thank you so much for joining me once again on the channel. So today I am going to be talking about gender-based violence intervention programs. So in the USA, they have these intervention programs where they rehabilitate abusers. So I found one of the videos where this is taking place, and I'm going to be reviewing that today. Unfortunately, we have nothing like this in South Africa. Well, we do have some pseudo programs where men can go and get rehabilitated. Not sure about whether they are succeeding or not, though. What I do know is gender-based violence is as common as the flu in South Africa. Many people don't care until it happens to them or until it happens to someone they know, or, you know, someone close to them. Then they start caring. Others, including the government, choose to turn a blind eye, until a woman is unalived. And then, they start lighting candles and going on the streets, and, they make a little speech there and there about the moral decay in our country, and how worthy women are and how much they are an endangered species that needs to be protected. But anyway, sure. So later on as well, so I'm going to be showing you guys the video, and I'm going to be making a few comments about what is being spoken about. And I'd like for you guys to also, chip in and let me know what you think about the video. And later on, I'll share the programs that we have in the country. I'll probably do that on the description as well. So let's do it.
Ninth week. Had a little altercation with my wife and grabbed her arm, and that's the physical abuse that I committed to my wife.
My name is Paul. I'm on class 19, and I'm here because I dumped my wife's purse out on top of her, and she called the cops, didn't want to press charges, but the DA picked it up as being a violent crime.
My name is Grant. I violated a restraining order.
My name's Todd. I'm Mark.
I'm Michael.
I got in a fight with my wife and I slapped her.
I holded her and pushed the wall.
Caught my wife cheating on me. Punched that guy several times. Hit her a couple times. A lot of screaming and yelling, pushing and stuff. Police got called.
I got arrested and now I'm here.
We got a lot of stuff.
I've just realized while watching the video that these guys are required to do this when they've done these crimes. It's not a choice for them to go there, go to these programs, and I just find that very interesting. So whether they like it or not, they are required to do this 52-day program so that they can be rehabilitated. And I think one of the most important things is during this program, they're trying to find the deeply rooted, things that make them create.
We started arguing, and I got mad, and I threw the remote, or my TV remote, and it busted, and the batteries flew out and hit her on the arm. She had a bruise on her arm. I always grew up knowing that, you don't hit women. I always grew up that way, and I'm not perfect. Obviously I'm here. I take...
Even if you weren't here, you wouldn't be perfect.
Yeah, and I take responsibility, but at the same time, this is not my first class.
This has happened before?
I've had multiple classes. This is actually my third class. I'm trying to, change. Sometimes I don't think, I just react.
Can I ask you some hard questions?
Yeah, you can ask me anything you want.
What do you think about this being your third time in group?
First thing that comes to my mind is ridiculous, because I should have learned from the first time. I didn't, apparently, and it's confusing for me too as well, because I'm just like, man, like why can't you get it? I can get other things, but I couldn't, I couldn't get that. I grew up in a hostile home, you know what I mean? I used to get hit, abused. That doesn't work. It doesn't work, because in reality, for me, all it did was piss me off more. All it did was put more fuel and more fire in my heart.
I don't know. I think for me, I just see a lot of pride in this guy. You know, I just see someone who's not really looking for help. I mean, he even mentions that this is not my first time here, and obviously he's here because he's forced to do this. And he seems like he doesn't care. I see someone who doesn't care, who's just here and looks proud of what he's done or what he's doing. And then he makes an excuse. He says he grew up with abuse. He was being beaten and it didn't help. It only added fuel to the fire. So he feels like he needs to do this to his wife now. He needs to take out everything that has happened to him on his wife.
In my heart. And
What kept the cycle going?
it completely kept the cycle going. And as it kept going, I kept picking up bits and pieces of different things. And by the time I got to my relationship, I got this whole cluster of stuff that I'm thinking, well, how is that even here? And I got to deal with it.
And the biggest pull that I can think of that would make you want to participate in all this is, aren't you tired of things going awful? Let that be your motivation. I want something better for myself and my partner. You got lots of work to do.
It ain't gonna, well, yeah, I got.
Who else has
But
questions
but
for
I
Rob?
but I think I have made a little step towards
Well, you make your-
doing better.
your
I mean,
good
if I
step
just
by
went through the
coming here.
dang remote, I mean, honestly, like that's what. I mean, I don't like I don't get physical anymore. And
Throwing a remote is physical.
yeah, but it wasn't intentional, like throwing it at her. It was,
Intentions are irrelevant.
I know, but
So one of the things,
but I have gotten better though. That I know.
okay, I'll give you that. But what I want you to try to avoid is minimizing it. If you make it smaller in your mind, well, I only threw the remote, and I didn't mean to do it. It makes the violence less important, and then you're less likely to use your tools to stop. If you realize what I did was wrong, even if it was verbal, even if I didn't mean to do it, it was wrong. I need to use my tools every day, all day. This can never happen again. Do you see the difference?
Yeah, a big difference.
All right, so we'll finish the accepting. Okay, good. All right, let's get started.
This guy is honestly, yeah, he's just the worst for me because he's full of excuses, and he's minimizing the problem. He's minimizing the abuse, and this is what abusers do all the time. He threw a remote on his wife, and you'll hear them saying, "No, man, I just said this swear word," or I just closed the door on her face, or just they would always try to minimize the problem. Even if they're telling somebody else about what happened at home, they would always it's one of their tactics that I know. And he's talking about intentions and blah blah blah, and I don't know, the moderator or something is telling him, listen, intentions are irrelevant here. Say what you've done, admit what you've done, because I think that is one of the first steps to fixing the problem, is admitting there's a problem in the first place. And this guy seems to think that, well, I'm not the problem here. I just threw the remote at her. And, I've been through a lot. I grew up in this abusive home, and I've seen this happen in my life, blah, 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 which does not matter at this point. So I'll call him the moderator, and then this guy says, you know what? Because he can see that this guy doesn't even see the need of him being here, even though he says, this is not my first time here. It's like he's so relaxed, and he's just here to tell everybody that, I've been here, I've been through this before, it didn't help me, don't know why I'm here again. And then the moderator says to him, aren't you tired? Aren't you tired? How about you say, I'm here because I want something better for myself. I want to be a better man. I want to be a better father. I want to be a better husband. Which I think is very, very important. because he can see that this guy doesn't give a damn about this. Now he's giving him a reason to care.
John, I want you to read for me 2 paragraphs, starting here.
Acceptance. Acceptance is an important and powerful message for partners to send to each other. You demonstrate acceptance of your partner when you do the following things. Number 1, show faith in your partner's decisions.
And then, even though it doesn't say that, I'm going to add, even if you don't agree.
That's it.
Dave's adding that to the number 4.
If we don't agree, as you said.
Even if you don't agree.
What?
I mean, just give me an example of that. Show faith in your partner's decisions, even if you don't agree. You went out and got a DUI. Good job.
No, that's not it.
I don't get it.
Okay, so if your partner decides to go away for a weekend with a friend that you think is a bad influence,
Okay.
do I want you to have a good time?
I want her to have a good time.
Of course I do.
I don't want her to go with this friend. All she does is smoke pot.
Or
That-
bang the guy.
That's
Or
her.
bang the guy.
Yeah, or you-
Exactly. That's what I'm saying. Like,
Can you stop her?
no, I can't.
You have to support her decisions.
No, I don't.
Yes, you do.
Okay, then go. You just don't come back here.
Right.
You don't agree with it, right?
That's correct.
So if I live by that rule, anything that I disagree with, I should. You're right, sweetheart. That's good.
That-
You're doing great. Good job.
You're
just walk
adding-
on eggshells and
Hold
allow
on.
everything to be okay.
Hold on. You're adding parts to the rule that we're not saying.
That's the one I don't agree with. The one
No.
you added on the bottom.
This one,
I-
you can just see that he doesn't give a damn about what the partner wants. Like, show faith in her decisions. For what good reason? Like, why should I agree? And the moderator is saying to him, listen, I'm not saying you must agree with everything that she does, but show faith in her decisions. So don't say when she makes decisions like that is bullseye, for example, showing faith is not agreeing. Showing faith is knowing that I trust you as a person and I trust that you will make the right decision. So I think that's very good. Like, not to throw everything she says in the dump and like make it look like it doesn't matter what she says. She must follow what you say. I think that's very powerful, and you can see this guy is very angry. He's very irritated. He doesn't want to agree with anything. He just wants to be the one to say what must happen.
I understand that. It doesn't say that you have to, it says show faith in your partner's decisions. It doesn't say that you have to stuff your feelings. It doesn't say that you can't have communication about it.
Oh, okay.
But you can't control their decisions. This whole part is about acceptance. They get to do what they want to do, even if you don't agree with it, even if you don't like it. And it's your job as a partner to be supportive and have a conversation. And if they still want to do it, they get to do that. But you're looking at this through the lens of an unhealthy relationship. And that's the part that you've got to take those goggles off.
No, I'm not. I'm not trying to be stubborn about this. I'm just trying to say I'm not going to agree with everything.
That's correct.
You're saying if I show faith
In her decision.
in her decision.
It doesn't say agree.
Okay.
Showing faith is not agreeing.
So explain that then.
Who can help him out?
The faith isn't about, hey, we have a serious problem here, because there's problem resolution for that. This is about a decision that you're unsure of what their outcome will be. Have faith in her that she will make the right decision when she does.
Do you see the difference?
I do.
Okay.
Cool.
Are we ready? Okay, good.
A little bit of a trickier situation in the sense that I didn't actually do anything physically violent except break the grip that my mother had on my daughter, her grandchild, because she was dragging my child along to the point where I thought she was going to pull her arm out of her socket. I remember seeing red and repressing every urge to just throw a haymaker and knock her out, because when you hear your child crying in pain and you're watching that person hurt that child, you don't want to let them keep doing it. She called the cops because, once again, she was drunk, and she sent me to jail saying I had assaulted her. I showed the officers where she'd scratch me. And they said, well, since you have a restraining order, we're just going to take you.
Let me clarify about what we do in group. So our group is only for you. So in here, we're only going to talk about Grant. We can't talk about mom. We're not going to talk about dad. We're not going to talk about ex-wife because they're not here and I can't help them. I can only help you.
I don't expect you to help them.
Okay. So the legal part of what happened is you violated the restraining order by not having peaceful contact when you grabbed her hand and then you slapped her, which is assault. So that's the part we want to focus on. Okay. And hold on. So who's got questions for Grant about his violence or his history?
I just have one question. Like, you have to be honest with yourself and know your character defects and work on it. If you work on it honestly, I think you'll be a better person every day. But you have to be honest with yourself first.
Do you know what character defects are? Who knows what that is? Character defect. It's something about yourself that you need to change. So for example, if I have a temper, that's one of my character defects.
Yes.
So it sounds like what Bowen is suggesting is maybe you should take a look at yourself and identify what are some of the things about yourself that you do need to change. Take an inventory. Does that make sense? Anybody else have thoughts or questions for?
The third guy, you can see the guy is angry, he's frustrated. And as he's explaining what he has done, he is reliving the whole ordeal. Like it looks like if that woman was next to him, he would slap her. He would slap her. And then the moderator tells him in between his anger, because firstly, this guy has a restraining, the woman has a restraining order against him. There is no person in the world who can have a restraining order against another. At least not someone who is sane in the head would have a restraining order against another if they did nothing. I had restraining orders left, right, and center. And the perpetrators would always have a restraining order as well. Like you have a restraining order, so they would want to go and have a restraining order. It's like for them, it's a game, you know. For them, this whole thing is a game because they could care less how you feel. They could, they just want to prove a point, a sick point that is. So I just see him as someone who he just doesn't care. He doesn't see how hurtful what he's done is. He doesn't see how he's hurt this woman. He doesn't care. And he talks about grandmother, and then he talks about everybody. And then the moderator says to him, listen, you are here for yourself. You're not here to tell us about what this one did and what the other one did. You are only here for yourself. So please, let's focus on you, because I can't help all these other people. And then he comes and then he says, well, I'm not expecting you to help them. And I just died when he said that. I was like, listen, this guy doesn't care, man. This guy does not want to hear anything. And so one of the other guys as well, because they do help each other. So it's a group of guys where if you're saying what you've done, what brings you here, everybody else would pitch in and they'll give you advice or, try to resolve the situation or make you see things that you didn't see about yourself. So one of the guys says, I think you have character defects. Check yourself, mister. Check yourself. And even the moderator also goes on to say yeah, that might be a great idea. You really need to sit yourself down and look at yourself in the mirror and stop blaming things on others. Look at yourself first, because there's a reason why you're here, man. There's a reason why there's a restraining order. There is a reason why you are angry right now. There's a reason why you are still angry. You are still talking about this, or just talking down on this woman, even though she's not here. So look in the mirror, be honest with yourself. And I just thought that was really interesting. But guys, do tell me what you think about this. And if you'd like to see more of these videos as well, I'd really appreciate it. Take care of yourselves, and thank you so much. Bye.